A very good day to all my listeners all across the globe. Welcome back to my podcast, George Nathaniel, and this is George Nathaniel for each one of you. Well, like you decided, 2024 is going to be a year of progress. So each one of us can look at everything beyond our comfort zones, look at everything beyond the ordinary, and see how much more we can achieve in 2024. And all my podcast for 2024 is going to be related to progress. It's going to be related to greater achievements, greater success, greater taking up greater challenges. So, what is my topic of my podcast today? Well, today I have a nice topic which is called the power of quiet work. Well, when we say the power of quiet work, what comes to our mind immediately is work hard in silence and let your results tell. Well, I'm not exactly saying that, but yet, in a way, I am also saying that. So, what am I looking at in this podcast? The power of quiet work. Well, when we say the power of quiet work, each one of us have been setting goals. We've been giving our best to outwork our own standards. We've been bettering the best in every purpose of our attempt. We've been constantly improving ourselves. We've been focusing on ourselves to build a better version over our daily ongoing. So, the power of quiet work is to develop ourselves. It's all about self improvement, it's all about self development. So, when I was writing this, I thought, what are the few things that we can focus on? Well, I wrote a few lines and then I thought it would be very easy for us to relate to those few lines. They say success grows when the focus and the meaning to strive goes beyond just that effort, resulting in building a purposeful attitude. Which means, whatever efforts we put in, whatever our achievements, it's important for us to learn over those efforts. It's important for us to hone our skills over those efforts. It's important for us to move a new mark over those efforts. So, in the future, by virtue of self development, by virtue of progress, we would have bettered our own mark. We would have had a better version of ourselves. And definitely, we keep getting stronger, ongoing over time. The power of quiet work is definitely to minimize distraction. It's definitely focusing on consistent, incremental progress. It's very important for us to keep developing. And remember, we need to be resilient, we need to be persistent to rebound while pursuing ambitious goals. Like we keep hearing that phrase, try and try again. There's always a new time, there's always a new day, and always there's always something that you can gain. We have one life, and remember, there's lots of time to achieve our goals, there's lots of time to pursue our new dreams, there's lots of time to start building our legacy. Like I keep saying, the best way or the best things that you can ever do is to live life looking back and seeing how much you have progressed over time, how much you have overcome challenges, how much you have learned along the way, and how much has made the best version of what you are today. Nothing can get simpler than this. And when we look at the power of quiet work, it's also very important, like I said in the beginning, speak when it improves your silence. And remember, your words should be measured by results. So rather, hold back your work and focus on results. That's the best thing to do. And like I said, 2024 is going to be a progressive year for each one of us. So I would say let's look at the most important thing in each one of us. So let's look at the key takeaways of this podcast, the power of quiet work, how we can work powerfully, and something that I've seen with many, many individuals, I've seen with many young leaders, I've seen with a lot of existing leaders as well. Each one of them tends to be an introvert in some way or the other. So when I'm saying an introvert, I'm saying something with a bigger meaning in life. I'm saying something with a progressive meaning in life. So when I say introvert, it's INTROVERT. And when we break it up, you see every young leader, every aspiring leader, every successful leader, he is very insightful on his pathways. They keep nurturing their goals. They're very thoughtful on learning. They're very reflective on action. They're very observant on challenges. They're very visionary on turnarounds. They keep themselves engaged and ongoing. They reserve the best for every effort. And eventually, when you look at it all, it's important, and each one of us looks at being triumph. So they are triumph in whatever they do. So when you look at the introvert version of yourself, it's very, very important to put in these words. It's very, very important for us to engage with the things that suits us best. Engage with the things that makes the better version of ourselves. The power of quiet work is actually moving milestones over regular intervals. So each time we do something, whether it's a failure, whether it's a success, whether it's an ongoing challenge, if we can learn something, if we can grow something, if we can move a new mark, that is progress. And that kind of progress will actually help you big time in the future over future challenges. So each one of us wants to be a leader. Each of us definitely deserves to be a leader. And each one of us are actually a leader. But most people don't realize that they are leaders doing things. There's someone or the other following them. There's someone or the other trying to get some kind of influence, motivation, something from them. So it's very important to keep working on being the best version of yourself. So I would say when you're looking at the best version of being a good leader with the power of quiet work, I'll say a good leader should be very clear in his communication. A good leader should be very clear with his approach. A good leader needs to train to listen. A good leader needs to recognize. A good leader needs to empower. And most importantly, a good leader leads over time by accumulating little by little, by achieving little by little, and finally making the goal look easier at the end of everything in life. So, the power of quiet work is actually very meaningful in all our lives, be it our personal lives, our professional lives, our contribution in lives, or whatever we want to do in life. So, if we can look at what I mentioned earlier, being an introvert, that's being insightful, being nurturing, being thoughtful, being reflective, being observant, being a visionary, being engaged, being result, and see how you can triumph over things. If we can actually incorporate these basics into our lives, then definitely we will be able to achieve, overcome bigger challenges as we go a long time, and as we grow a long time. So when we look at being progressive, it's very important for us to look beyond the ordinary. It's very, very important for us to keep challenging ourselves. So, listeners, as you know, I keep all my podcasts very simple. I keep my podcast very open. So my podcast just gives you a reflection of what you can do. It gives you a little insight of what you can do. It gives you a little bit of key takeaways that these are things that you can do. But eventually, at the end of anything, it's everything but you. So, as individuals, each one of you all have your own strengths, you all have your own goals, you have your own meaning and purpose in life. So, make the best of everything. And 2024 is a great year for each one of us all across the globe. The starting itself has been a super year, and definitely we are in the second month of 2024. So let's start accumulating little successes. Let's start building better versions of ourselves. Let's start making ourselves even more happy, making our lifestyles a little more comfortable with wellness. Let's start helping each others all across. And eventually, when we look at things, I would always say it's very important for us to be good individuals. That's the big basic of anything, and that's the best thing of anything. So, listeners, I leave you all with this podcast, The Power of Quiet Work. As each one of you all know, my podcast is available across all platforms. You can go in if you use an Android phone, or if you use an Apple phone, if you're using any phones, it's almost available across all platforms from a Spotify to an iTunes to a Radio Public to an Amazon Music. So it's almost everywhere. I also have my blog website, which is called georgenathaniel.net. You can come and listen to my podcast, or you can read my blogs, which are totally different. My blogs is all about processes. My blogs is all about being a little more, I would say, prepared towards our approach to have better results. So I wish each one of you all best in whatever you're doing. I wish each one of you all greater success in life. Keep building on, keep achieving bigger goals, and let's make 2024 a great year ahead. I wish each one of you a good day. Thank you so much. This is George Nathaniel, and keep listening to my podcast, keep sharing it, and until my next podcast, let's make lives happier. Thank you so much.